classes a week
allow us to journey into these altered states.
It really whacked me psyche though, big time.
If you just sit reading books, it's the shadow because you're not going to be in your body.
Welcome to Creating Space, bringing people together. Real conversations with real people, telling stories and sharing our gifts right here in the heart of Liverpool, inspiring new ideas, education and co-creation.
Choose a challenge that lights you up and is going to make a difference in the world.
Creating Space.
Sponsored by the Scouts Guru app.
Okay, we're back. We're back in the studio. It's episode 24. My name's Martin Bowen and this platform is called Creating Space. So thanks for tuning in. Got a great conversation today. Got a great mate of mine. He's over in Liverpool for the day. Been getting his teeth done. Turkey teeth.
Trying.
And I just thought it'd be a great opportunity to get me mate Stevie Ward here on this wonderful platform. Stevie is a ex-professional rugby league athlete. Been through a massive change in his life over the last few years, having gone through a huge episode with concussion. But it's took him on a massive new journey of spirituality, mental health, and really just asking the big questions of, what's next for Stevie. And he's set up a wonderful platform called Mantality that I want to get into today as well and see, how Stevie's been offering himself to the world. So thanks for tuning in. This is going to be a great one. Looking forward to it. Get comfy, get the kettle on and tune in. So Stevie, good to see you, my man.
My mucker. How we doing, my son?
How are we, lad? You all right?
I'm good, mate. I'm flipping buzzing to see you, as always.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean?
There's like, I feel like I've known you all my life, you know what I mean? There's like a brotherly camaraderie, isn't there, between us, mate? I think we just laugh at the same things, don't we?
Yeah, it's easy though.
I only have to look at your face, mate.
Yeah. Mate, it's that flipping. It's when I stare into those deep eyes.
Oh, mate, them eyes, you know what I mean? The eyes of the soul, I think, there was many laughs that we had, sort of, probably about 18 months ago. Was it 2 years ago, Men Without Masks?
That retreat, yeah.
And I remember, because we shared a lot, don't we? We sit in circles. And there was times where, and we're being serious and we're being vulnerable, aren't we?
Yeah.
But I just couldn't look at you, mate.
Someone telepathic, wasn't it? It's like
someone would be sharing something, really profound or deep, and I'm like that now. I'm thinking Stevie's over there. I'm just putting my.
It was straight down the barrel, though, wasn't it? Straight on, thinking I can't look at you.
That time in school when you just couldn't laugh.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
That's it. Well, they're the best moments.
Yeah.
They are the best. When I look back into school and I'm thinking about the times where you can't stop laughing.
Yeah,
you got the giggles. I mean, there's not better than that, is there?
Yeah, we have a good giggle, mate, don't we?
We're after it.
So it's good to see you. You're in Liverpool for the day, and obviously you're getting your teeth done.
Yeah.
And I mean, tell me about your teeth. You know what I mean? Obviously being an ex-professional rugby league player, I assume your teeth were knocked out, and you've been on a process of repairing your teeth and
it's a never-ending
repairing
process,
your face,
mate.
and repairing your brain as such.
Yeah.
We'll get into that.
I'm trying to patch myself together again, mate, and they didn't actually come out. They just broke above the gum line. On 2 separate occasions. I broke my 2 front teeth. One was in flipping 2014 or something, and it was wobbling for a bit. And then one was 2019. And then it got to 2019 and it gets to a point where I have to get them taken out.
Yeah.
Put a denture in, so false.
Yeah.
Flipping 2 front teeth. I'm going and playing games with my gum shield falling out because it's got no to flipping hold onto anymore. Do you know what I mean? I'm I can remember sitting in dentist chair first time when I got them taken out, and it's awful.
Yeah,
it's awful. It's
not a fun experience, is it?
No, and I've got Tame Impala top on now, but must have done it for a reason. Going to the dentist again today, but just full blast, put Tame Impala full blast in my ears when he's getting to work, and I'm just trying to dissociate, just trying to flip and get away from it. So anyway, I had the implants done and I've gone on this flipping escapade to heal and recover and get better with my brain. And I've got these nice, beautiful implants in, whiter than the rest of my teeth. And I'm doing everything not to bang my head. You know, I'm trying to recover, trying to rest. Yeah. Anyway, it was about 5 weeks ago, one of them starts wobbling. And I'm like, it's hurting and that. And I'm like, what's going on? Anyway, I smashed the titanium or split the titanium implant that's connected to my jaw. So I came back over here and they're like looking at me like, are you playing rugby again? And are you boxing or something? I'm like, no, what do you mean? I've been doing everything the opposite.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So then I'm like, he's saying, I've not seen this before, but your titanium implant's in half.
Wow.
So I've had to go through the process, go back for like the flipping next episode of Saw,
Yeah.
like in the dentist chair and that. And anyway, it's a little bit better now. They've done the bone graft and stuff. I've just got to wait a few months to get.
Yeah. How come why Liverpool then? What's all that about?
So
No good dentist in Leeds or something like that.
so, mate, it was just I got sorted out, mate. You
Yeah,
know what I mean?
yeah,
As
yeah.
you do here, I
Yeah.
think. I got sorted out, mate, and it was just I know someone Gary Dickinson is called. I don't even know where he lives, but he connected to some dentist over here, and I got the implants, you know, free.
Nice.
So that's why I'm over here.
Yeah, you've been over
That's
here.
why
yeah.
I'm always texting you saying, "Hi mate, I'm over in train, 2-hour journey, get over to Liverpool, get the teeth sorted, and see me old mucker."
Well, mate, it's great to see you. I know you just recently come back from the States, haven't you? You've been over in New York, is that right? Yeah.
Yeah.
For a few weeks, mate, wasn't it? Or
It seemed to roll into, I think 3 months in total.
wow.
3 months in total. By hook or by crook, we got there.
Yeah.
And met some incredible people.
Yeah.
And then just ended up staying longer.
Yeah, nice.
And you know,
And what was the connection there? Because I know there was a synchronicity, wasn't there?
yeah, it was mad. It was mad. So me and Nat, my partner, she's a professional contemporary dancer, obviously, ex-pro rugby player. And I've been recovering with this brain injury that we'll talk about in a bit, but I got offered some treatment in Mexico, of all places, North Mexico, in one of the most westernized and Americanized places in Mexico. And we got offered this treatment, and it connected and aligned with us going and traveling.
Yeah.
Nat needed to get away and travel. I needed to get away and travel. I thought, if I'm going to have headaches, I just want to get out, see the world.
Yeah, nice.
And see some beauty, you know, be in nature and go through it. Anyway, we rock up to this place, and I'm going to spend a month in this place in Mexico. And I'm doing all the tests. So I'm meant to do a blood test, meant to have different scans. And the blood test is meant to be fasted. But the first morning I wake up in Mexico, I'm walking around and I see some Mexican eggs. I'm straight
Chili
in there, mate.
killers.
And I'm like, do you know when you wake up from the jet lag, halfway through my eggs, I'm like, what the fuck am I doing? I'm like, what am I doing? I'm just like, I'm having to ring the organizer and say, look, I can't do the fasted one today. She's like, you'll have to do it tomorrow. And I'm like, yeah, sound, no worries. Anyway, I rock up to this different hospital the next day, and I meet a guy there he's in a wheelchair, and he had motor neuron disease, so ALS, what they call it over there. And I just connected with him, and he was obviously there for the same thing. And I connected with him talking about Rob Burrow, my ex-teammate who's got motor neuron disease for Leeds Rhinos, who's making flipping absolute waves,
Nice.
raising money, and you know, everyone in around him is raising money and raising the awareness around it. And I was speaking to him about Rob, speaking to him about me, and just speak for 10 minutes. And you know, when you have the conversation, you just feel flipping alive and electric. I was excited going into, I didn't know what I was going into.
Yeah.
I speak to him, then you know, we swap each other's numbers, and you know, it turned out he was a producer of the Broadway Hamilton. I don't know if you've seen it, Hamilton production, Broadway theatre, different films, TV. He produced an amazing film comedy called Black Dynamite, which is flipping one of the funniest things I've ever seen.
yeah.
You'd love it. You'd absolutely love it. So we connected, and we just said, you know, let's keep each other up to date on our journeys.
Nice.
So we connected, and before we knew it, he's saying, you should come see this chiropractor, you should meet this person, you should meet that person.
Nice.
So I thought,
So he's linking you in with other practitioners, people he feels like who can save you and help you.
exactly, and there's some people out there that we met, and just covering all bases. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, and you know, do you feel like being over in the States, these like next level practitioners or some in the UK or?
I think that there was a chiropractor I saw who was incredible, and he's looking at Atlas orthogonal. So it's Atlas is that bloke who's stood with the world on his shoulders, on top of his neck, and basically that's because the Atlas is the top bone and at the top of your spine, and it's all about making sure that's in alignment. And we all walk around with this bone out of alignment.
Yeah.
But I started seeing this guy, and he'd X-ray me. He'd do a stand upright MRI. So I'd be sat up getting an MRI, and he'd measure the cerebral spinal fluid in your brain, going around your brain. Which, if you think of it like blood pressure, heart blood pressure, it's that, but for your brain.
Yeah, wow.
And these adjustments, which is hardly anything, he'd lie on your side and he'd put this bit of apparatus, and it'd just tap you in the neck, and it'd lock this. Yeah, he'd click it in, mate. This Atlas, and you're like, "Fuck, I feel better." Do you know what I mean? I'm like, I feel better, and we've had X-rays. The CSF fluid dropped by 30%. Pressure just by doing that.
So like less headaches, less
just less fog and
tension.
less tension. And less weight on the headache, and you know. And you know, getting that treatment was class. And then as well with your body, these X-rays, and it looked, my spine was like twisted round. My ribs were like up, and you know, out of alignment basically. And you see like the progression after 2 weeks, and it's straightening up, and it's getting like, and that's just from clicking something in your neck. You know.
Wow.
So obviously, that's something for me that I'm trying to keep on top of now. I think there's only one practitioner in the UK, and he's down in the Midlands. But so that was AO, Atlas orthogonal, and then there was an amazing gent that you'd love to speak to. First generation American, but his parents came over after Vietnam War. He's done flipping probably as much meditation as you've done. I did a podcast with him, and he's done the odd psychedelic trip.
Nice.
He's done about 350 trips. At one point, he did a psychedelic trip every week for a year.
Wow.
So he went to some other planet for a while, I bet. Do you know what I mean? So, you know, speaking to this guy and his guided meditations, movement, breath work, and, you know, a lot of it was just encouraged by John just connecting us. And I'm just like, we set out on this journey, on this trip, me and Natalie. And one of the things that started coming to me in the first month that we were there was to live a life beyond my wildest dreams, our wildest dreams.
Yeah.
And I've never thought about what that means, right? You hear it, don't you?
Yeah.
You know, and then I got to the point where I get what it means now.
Yeah.
Because I've never dreamt about what I'm doing.
Of course, yeah.
You know, it's like...
Beyond your wildest dreams.
Yeah, my wildest dream was to win a grand final.
Yeah.
To flipping walk into a club and feel like the man.
Yeah.
To do all these things that you see and that we all talk about. But I felt like getting to this point and setting off on this journey, I was like... Here we are. Do you know what I mean? Here we go.
You're even setting an intention with that, you know, suggestion, isn't it? 100%. You know what I mean? Where you're just like, you know what? I want to go on a, you know, I mean, we say once in a lifetime journey, you know what I mean? But to you know, to go traveling, to go abroad. And I think with the mindset you've certainly adopted with the time I've known you, Steve, is like open-minded, synchronicity, you know, spontaneity.
Yeah.
Be receptive, be open-minded, be open, you know, be vulnerable, and say yes to things, say yes to life, say yes to people, you know, and so by the sounds of it, like it's, you know, just that can, I mean, isn't it amazing? Like, you know, just a human being meeting another human being, and then and how we can all be almost a link in some sort of chain, or almost a, you know, we can do it like a 360 in our lives and go on a totally different trajectory. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, man. It's it's scary. It's flipping scariest thing ever.
Yeah, yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Because that's the scariest thing that I've ever been through.
So you started in Mexico.
Yeah.
And how was that protocol for you?
It was good, mate. It was good. I can't talk about too much of what the actual treatment was, but I spent quite a bit of time there, and it's pretty cutting edge. And I'm flipping grateful that I got asked to go out there.
Yeah.
And I literally went the day after I dropped that Sky Sports documentary about living with concussion and how it's affected me, how it's affected my family, how it's taken me away from the game.
Yeah.
Gone down to Sky Sports News that day to speak about the documentary. It was on my birthday, actually, so they made my birthday concussion day,
Yeah.
which is flipping good, isn't it? So every birthday is going to remind me of it. But went down there to the studio, and the next morning, on the 18th of November, I flew out to Mexico. Spent that month there.
Mexico City, was it?
It was Monterrey. It was.
Oh, yeah.
North. It's like west. You wouldn't
Yeah,
think
you
it's
wouldn't think
Mexico.
Mexico. Yeah.
It's that like, similar to like being in America or Texas, I imagine.
Yeah.
So we spent a month there, and then we went down south Mexico, San Cristobal, if you've ever heard of that.
San Cristobal, yeah.
Which is like flipping. It's like they're all wearing that pattern that you've got on your sandals there.
Yeah.
You know, it's like flipping.
A lot of the people from the school I was trained in, they all went to San Cristobal.
Oh, really?
And they travelled to from where we were. We were on the Pacific coast in a place in a district called Oaxaca. On the
Mazunte. Did you go to
Mazunte? Yeah. So there's Mazunte, San Cristobal,
the one on the west coast.
the one on the west. It's it's on the
Paz.
west. La Paz.
Yeah.
All that, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? And then a lot of them make a journey through to Guatemala as well, you know what I mean? And all around there you've got Guatemala, Costa Rica.
Yeah.
But it's an amazing place, isn't it? It's wild, isn't it?
Oh, mate, it's do what you want. Nearly.
Yeah, it's
Do you know what I
wild.
mean?
Yeah,
It's like do your best, mate. They're quite like.
San Agustin here it was called as well.
Oh, right, yeah. I think there's like I think there's parts of that world that are like away from legislation.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like they make their own rules.
Yeah.
And they look after themselves.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
And I don't know the performance of those places. I don't know how well they do, but it's nice to go on holiday.
Unfortunately, just recently they just had a huge tornado in about 6 weeks ago. Like, and it's absolutely just absolutely just demolished. You know, so many people's lives and so many people's homes. You know, it's really and even in the school I was trained in, like it's been really they're in repair at the moment, you know.
Fucking decimated,
Really, really difficult news. Because there's friends who I've still got out there, you know, and they still live in Mazunte and that, you know. So you spend some time in the south.
You know, yeah. I spent some time there, mate. And I think we took like about 3 weeks there, 4 weeks, and we went to Mexico City, stayed with a family there, mate.
Nice.
In Mexico City, near the centre. And, you know, that was connected through Monterrey and stuff like that. Which were class. I were quite ill actually leaving San Cristobal because I'd done the old flipping local job. You know, when you're locals and you're like, I'll be fine, man. I'll be fine. I've adjusted already. And then like 2 weeks later, you're like, it's still nearly dying. And the first interaction, one of the first interactions I had with one of the friends that we made in Monterrey, staying with her dad. He had a job of like, he was like a doctor, but for like tourists in Mexico City. He had like different chains through the country. And I rocked up, mate, looking flipping gone as, you know, like you like grey and that and you just like want to die. First thing, I think it was like 2 hours in, he'd ordered a flipping pack of injections. And I was like laid across his bed with my ass out and he's injecting me with this antibiotic or whatever because I couldn't get better.
Yeah.
I'm like, nice to meet you, mate. Yeah, class to meet you. And but then obviously the only way is up after that. And it was a beautiful place. Like Spanish architecture, you know, like real flipping cool. And like they've got like a real like, I think it's Roma, which is like a real hipster sort of like trendy sort of vibe what they've got, and it's cheap as anything.
Yeah, it's cheap.
So I'd go, mate. I'd spend loads more time there if I could.
Nice.
So Did Mexico City, 5 days, just about getting right, leaving there. Where did we go? I think Costa Rica then.
Costa
Rica
Rica,
for
yeah.
a month, and you can imagine flipping, lying around the pool.
Yeah.
You go to like a good hotel or a good villa, and you don't even need to go to national parks because you got sloths flipping
Everywhere, yeah.
going around. They must look at me and think, oh, it must be his dad.
Our friends who've just moved to Costa Rica and you know, just by the videos or the some of the stories and photos they're posting. I only ever flew into Costa Rica on the way home, so I made the airport. That was about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I know Craig White did it. He did a 21-day water fast in Costa Rica. Madman. Yeah.
It's a cold place to do a flipping water fast, isn't it?
So a month in Costa Rica, How was that then, matey? Was you just sort of integrating what happened in Mexico, especially in Monterrey in the hospital?
It was good. I think we'd been away from a beach for a while. So we were like, let's go chill out and take it easy in Costa Rica.
Nice.
Been to Mexico for quite a while. We met some good people out there, and done some beach stuff, and it was good, but it gets to a point where you feel like you need to
do something. Yeah, you want purpose, don't you?
Yeah, you need purpose. You need to be flipping, living in alignment with your values and stuff.
Yeah, because it gives you a lot of time to think as well, doesn't it? You know, you're out there, you're sort of in a place of being, not like in a place of doing.
Yeah,
and I think it's romantic, you know, and it's time for rest, and I know that's important to you. But I think, you know, for me, you know, being a man in the world, you know, we want something to sink our teeth into, mate, don't we? You know. Yeah. So you sort of, that you get bored, but you sort of just want to get going and something, don't you? You know what I mean? Yeah. So you leave Costa Rica, and
that's when we were looking. Maybe we go Colombia. We're looking around and thinking, where do we go here? And you know, we just like it's open for what we do. You know, we're just thinking, what's next? What do we do?
Yeah.
We got a text from my old mucker in flipping who I met in Mexico, and he's like, you should come up to see this chiropractor, you should meet this guy, you should meet that guy. I'm just looking at that and like,
these are
it's decided. You know what I mean? It's decided. Exactly. Yeah. It's decided. So we went up there, mate, and the synchronicity that and this is what blew my mind in New York, because I don't like cities. Do you know what I mean? I'm not a fan of cities. I don't like London. I don't like the hustle and bustle and stuff. But that first week when I went to New York, it was just like, like my eyes were just open. Do you know? And you're just waiting. You're just waiting to see what happens. You know. And we were looking for an apartment. Just like flipping, done our walking, been on tube and stuff, had our suitcases. We're looking for an apartment, and Nat's got her head down looking at Google Maps, and this fella just says, "Where are you looking for?" It turned out it was like 2 hours down or whatever, and his directed us there, and we're like, all right, sound. Anyway, I just thought, you know, when you're that tired and you're just like, what are you about? You know, like just want to talk to him. And I think he's thinking, what the hell is he doing here? What am I doing here with a Yorkshire accent? Flipping, he's called Jules Feller. Jules Feller is called. And he's this old guy, white hair, and he's it turns out is a PR agent who does stunts for hotels. He's done stunts for like hotels where they've got like a full floor of models living at the hotel just to get that PR stunt.
Wow.
He looks after Larry Holmes. You know, I've just done a podcast with Larry Holmes. He took me over to his house to do a podcast with him, flipping ex-heavyweight champion at world, talking about Mike Tyson, Don King, talking about
big names.
Yeah, taking Muhammad Ali to the Sopranos set.
Wow.
You know, and I'm like,
and this guy's you've met him on the tube.
Yeah, I met him on the street, mate. Just walking past his house, mate, on the tube, and I'm like, here we go. You know, here we go. So we just keep chatting and that, and messaging him. We're going for breakfast and stuff in all these old New York, like, you know, where they're flipping, the food's outstanding, like bagels, white fish, and they'll speak to you like shit, and it's acceptable, you know what I mean? It's like, yes, I've got a New York experience because he's flipping, because he don't care, you know? So he's took us to all them, and we just like, we're getting the experience.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not just going around. I didn't go see Statue of Liberty
Yeah,
or
none of that.
Empire State.
Getting
'Cause
right under the skin with New York.
yeah, mate. Just like actually in it.
Yeah.
You know. And then we met some trainers, like some PTs that basically train the flipping high flyers,
Yeah.
you know, of New York.
Yeah.
You know, and
Yeah, the big money men.
yeah, exactly. And just understanding the dynamic of their life and what world they're living in.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
like I'm just like, I want to know it. You know, I
Yeah.
want to know it. I want to
You're
experience
interested.
it.
Yeah.
I'm just not because, and I kept saying this as well. Like we're not like, I think this is quite important that we want like grasping for it. Do you know what I mean? I want to meet these people.
Yeah.
Or I want to do this. Or I want to get this from it.
Yeah.
Because realistically, I didn't want out from it.
Yeah.
I'm just doing it. Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean? I'm
Just going with it.
Going with it. Just like, what else would we do? Do you know?
Yeah.
So, you know, then we end up spending a weekend for Nat's birthday weekend, set up by flipping an amazing woman that we met called Jax up in the Hamptons.
No.
You know, and I'm like, what's going on here? Do you know what I mean? I'm like, flipping.
Pinching yourself.
When's it going
away
to stop this? When's it going to stop? So, you know, mate, and then we sort of spend that time in New York and getting this treatment, getting looked after by this chiropractor. And anyway, not long after that, we have to get home. Really, it's Nat's brother's wedding, and we're still edging out. We're still like wanting to get back. You know, when you come back and the wheels are still turning a bit.
Yeah.
We're still wanting to flipping get out there and come back, and it's like a bit going back to Leeds is a bit like going back to my ex-girlfriend's flipping house. Do you know what I mean? It's like everyone looks at me for what I did all my life, or who I was, and you know, who I'd spend the time with and what I'd do. And I just like, I'm not ready to sink back into it yet. Do you know what I mean? I felt like there was something else. And I was laying on the sofa and feeling a bit sorry for myself, just like, because when you have those experiences, you're like, it's like I've had after finals, it's like after I've had big games.
Yeah, just
every Friday night game on the Monday, you're like, fuck. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm just on the sofa and I'm like, what do I do with my life?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I'm like, what do I do with my life?
Yeah.
And then, you know, I think another, I swear flipping, this fella John's like flipping listening through other side of Syria or something, but I got a text and he's like, hi mate, just getting in touch. Wanted to know what you're up to for the summer. I'm going to be in Vermont if you and Natalie wanted to stay in my apartment for 2 months. And I'm like, fucking hell. I just went, nah.
Pack your bag, babe.
Yeah. Nah, get your kits on, love. We're off. So, yeah, I mean, we went and spent 7 weeks there and just carried on.
Wow.
Meeting people. Just living in the swing of it as well. Yeah. Just flipping vibing and all.
Eating good food, you know, great conversations.
Going to see jazz, going to see flipping these concerts, which you only get in New York, you know. Meeting different people and and that was a time to go, right, instead of sitting at home and just getting stuck into something.
Or doing something that you just to fill the time and the space.
You do when you're at home. You just you meet this guy. I'll do that. I'll try my hand at this. Or
fill stuff, don't we?
Yeah. And so they would give me space to go. All right, okay. I'm feeling that. I'm feeling that sort of tension where I know that I need to do something. Do you know what I mean? And we spoke about the retreat. And at that time, you looked to me and I knew myself that I needed just time to just get away from everything.
Yeah.
You know, and just take it easy.
Heal.
Yeah.
Rest,
just
adventure.
let that time, look at nature. So we knew that. And coming on the other side of it, it's good to chat now because it's like, I can feel that same energy kicking in, which had come to me on a game day. Do you know what I mean? That like, you know, what we're gonna do here.
Yeah,
you know, what we're gonna get into.
Yeah, what am I moving towards?
Yeah, like what is it? What's the right thing to flip? Just put my, because at the end of the day, all we have is our attention. You know, so I'm like, what do I put my attention? And it's scary.
Where am I putting my energy?
Yeah. Like where with this flipping amount of control that I perceive that I have.
Yeah. What am I ready to manifest? What am I ready to create? What's available to me?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I went through a long period being aware of manifesting and, you know, writing. I'd love to look back at the books that I were writing and journaling and filling in and seeing what matched up and connected with what actually happened.
Yeah.
You know? But it takes energy, that.
Yeah.
It takes energy, you know, to sit down with it and to flipping imagine it or to connect with it and then to go through it.
And sometimes, as you said, like, you know, you've almost got like your wildest dreams, as you were saying, but then sometimes that's still a limitation.
Yeah.
Because you've had this journey, this trip that, you know, you could potentially maybe never have imagined meeting these people from like these walks of life, listening to this music, eating this food, like getting right into the heart of like New York. And I'm listening to you thinking, oh man, you know, it just reminds me of the times that I've travelled in my life. And even this year I went down to Brighton for 5 days. Yeah. And like, I absolutely loved it, Steve. Yeah. It was the weekend when it was absolutely blazing in the UK. We've had a few, but there was one weekend where it was like just so hot. And my partner Ange, she was on like a massage journey, doing a wonderful technique called Lomi Lomi. And I was like, I'm just going to treat this as a holiday. And, you know, we were having a little coffee in the morning. And then she was like, you know, off to crack on with it, you know, with the massage. And I was like, right. And I was just dead spontaneous, you know what I mean? And it was, and the conversations that I had with people and the diversity in Brighton, you know what I mean? And the openness. I mean, it's the gay capital in the UK, I think, you know what I mean? So there's so much liberation down there already. And there seems to just be this like default of everyone just seems to go down the front, especially in the summer, you know what I mean? So, you know, you're down the front and, you know, there's all like little bands playing and, you know, people are just like vibing, you know what I mean? And from like people from like 15 years old right through to like 70s and 80s, there just seemed to be a vibe. Yeah. That's all I can explain about it, you know what I mean? Yeah. I was like, I like it. It was quirky. It was different. It was colourful. It felt liberated. And I was just getting that taste of, you know, what you're speaking about. Do you know what I mean? Like, you know, and it was so diverse, the trip, in such a short space of time for me. And I just feel like I've been around the world. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? I've been away for a few days, you know what I mean? And sometimes that's what maybe all we need. You know, we need like, you know, a week away, but maybe not to plan anything too much, do you know what I mean? And like 100%. Be spontaneous. Yeah. You know, I think we manage risk too much and we plan so much and we plan ahead, don't we? You know, we rehearse our lives, we predict our lives, we have a desire for certainty and so it can become rigid, can't it? You know what I mean? And I think underneath that rigidity, as much as I do believe in like creating order in our lives, we've got to be like water, haven't we? We've got to flow, we've got to be open and like the fact that you've just been in that space of being really like water-like and just, you know, in it for in it because you can just be in it. Yeah. You know what I mean? Just for being in its sake, you know what I mean?
That's the magic, innit?
That's the magic.
If you can like appreciate what's actually happening, going on for you right there.
Yeah.
That's like, what more do you need?
That's the magic.
You know? It's like expectations, like the rigidity that we have and the scheduling that we have and what we want to get from this conversation, what we want to get from these people, what we want to get from, it's all like expecting stuff. Yeah. Do you know? And it shrinks the possibility. I think
we put an expectation on ourselves as well, don't we? Or we live a life of other people's expectations of us. You know, and I know I can, I suppose, take that now opportunity to start leaning into your rugby life, you know what I mean? Because I suppose there was a time in your life, Steve, where there was so much expectation on you. Yeah. Because you were the captain, weren't you, as well, mate? You know what I mean? And, you know, and I think you were the youngest ever captain at Leeds, was you, or was it?
Oh no, probably
Yeah.
not. I was youngest ever player to win a grand final.
That's right, that was it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
18.
Yeah.
I never thought of it like that
Yeah.
until you said it then.
You know, and so the expectation that was placed upon you, you know, because no doubt for many years as a, you know, as a teenager and maybe before, you know, and moving into, you know, your manhood into your 20s, you clearly were good at rugby, mate, you know what I mean? Because you've ended up playing elite
Yeah.
rugby league, you
Yeah.
know. So let's like sort of go back in time then a little bit. You know what I mean? Thank you for sharing what you shared
Yeah.
there. I'm thinking, I'm fucking going to New York. You know what I mean?
Mate,
Do you know
I know.
what? If funny enough,
I know some amazing people.
you know
mate,
what? I'm
to
going to
get
drop a
over.
bomb dead quick. I've just recently, over the last probably week,
Yeah.
started working with an elite professional.
Class.
And I won't mention who it is on camera just yet because, you know, but there's an opportunity to go to Madison Square Garden in November.
Class.
Yeah, to be a part of the team, like, do you know what I mean? So,
Yes.
so yeah, it's you know, see myself in the Big Apple, mate. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
mate.
You know, so yeah.
Get there, you'll
Hook
love
me up,
it.
brother.
Mate, they'll hear that accent, man. Flipping. Who knows who you'll see? Do you know what I mean? On the
Not
street.
coming home.
Flip it, yeah, mate. I mean, we were planning the move there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, wow,
Like,
really. And it's all a possibility, Steve, isn't it? I'm sure, you know.
Yeah, who knows?
Yeah.
Who knows? And that's the thing. I'm not going right. This is when we're going to move there, and
Yeah.
it's
Because it sounds like your missus, Nat,
yeah.
you know, she's
Mate, she's flipping
as open and spontaneous
unreal.
as yourself. Yeah.
unreal. She just gets it, and you know, she's a contemporary dancer, so she walks into a world where she's trying to break expectations. Do you know
Yeah.
what I mean? That's the world that she's grown up in and she's lived in. So meeting her was a bit like going into understanding a new world.
Yeah.
But also she, I guess, guided me or allowed me to look into that new world,
Yeah.
you know, beyond expectation.
Of course.
So we're just living. Do you know what I mean?
Lovely.
Just living. It's
Lovely.
good fun.
And where did you meet her, mate? Was that like, you know, in your rugby days, was it? Or
Funny enough, she actually went to my school. I was mates with her brother, a few years older than her. I didn't really speak to her at school. Anyway, a few years ago, and I think it's like I'm about 22. And I get to a point where I'm like, you know, I've won those finals, and I put into an England team by hook or by crook. Got into an England team after playing about 4 games after an ACL injury. Winning, getting injured, doing the rehab, winning, getting injured, doing the rehab. That cycle. And Nat just messaged me on Facebook. It was about Mantality, actually.
really?
So she just messaged me about Mantality and having these conversations, which was different to the ones that I were already having.
Yeah.
You know? And it just went from there, mate. I started going to yoga with her.
Nice.
You know, I started trying these different things,
Yeah.
meditation.
She's opened your world up.
Yeah. Which is, you know, when you think about relationships, it's extending that goodwill to help each other grow, I think.
Yeah.
You know, and that's what we're always trying to do.
Lovely.
And don't mean it's always flipping
It's
rosy.
always- yeah.
You know, it's
Challenges along the
there's
way, isn't it?
challenges. We're human beings, so it's challenging. But it's a good challenge, you know.
Yeah.
It's a good challenge.
Yeah, it's worth fighting for, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
worth sticking with, like,
Yeah,
you know.
yeah. It's good, mate. And she's flipping. She's like, right, what are we doing? You know,
Yeah.
what should we do?
Yeah.
What should we do? And it don't mean that those human being fears don't kick in, because we're always living through fear. You know, we're always got a fear coming in somewhere. But it means the majority of the time we're choosing to go with authenticity. We're choosing to go with what we want to do. We're choosing not to go with what other people expect of us.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
We're just going, what do we actually want to do here?
Yeah.
Not what other people think that we should do.
Yeah.
What do we want to do?
Yeah, what
and
do
we're
you
trying
wanna
to
do?
feel into it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, and I think it's so you get out your own way, don't you, as well? You know what I mean? I think the only person who really stops you in the end is yourself.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Where you just, you know, you're just like, you know, I think people play safe. You know, people build, a picket fence around their life. Not even a picket fence, a big wall. And it's just like, and these are my roots, and no one's getting in and no one's getting out. And it can be a life of limitation, do you know what I mean? And it's the comforts, isn't it? You know, and I think we all like our comfort state, you know, but I think, you know, the stuff I teach and the stuff I experience in my own life is, I think there's a time, you know, to really, address your fears, even reflect upon them and contemplate them. It starts with awareness, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It starts with having a look, at least, you know, take a look at your life. You know, I think a lot of people just don't even want to go there because they're potentially ashamed of the life that they've subordinated to, you know what I mean? And, you know, and so people just fit in. They play small, you know, they live a life of comfort. They wait to the end of the month to feel abundant when they get paid. You know, they wait for the weekend and you know, yourself is you're just a demonstration of like actually what's available. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, because obviously you potentially, or you possibly feel like you've become a new person, haven't you? You know, to a degree.
Yeah.
You know, you know, many. I suppose you adopted the identity of a rugby player, and a professional rugby player at that. And you know, I suppose that potentially started very early on in your life. You know, I assume you were good at rugby in school, and then it sort of progressed from there. So, how did that unfold then? Like, was that obviously your main sport? When did you really start getting like noticed by some you know, some of the sort of bigger clubs?
Yeah, I'd think I was nuts. If I were looking at me now, when I'm 18, I'd be like, what is he fucking going on? Who's this guy? Do you know what I mean? What's he talking about? Do you know what I mean? It's funny you say that because it's there's a shift that happens, especially when you're in that rugby identity. There's a shift that where you're seeing stuff and you're feeling different stuff.
Yeah.
And it's like there's that transition period where you either go with it or you just keep putting it off.
Yeah.
And I have so many men, even rugby players, speak to me that I'm like, I know that they want to know more.
Yeah.
They want to know what's more to life.
Yeah.
Do you know?
Because it's all about the next trophy, Steve, isn't it? Really, you know.
You're always scheduling ahead.
Yeah.
You're always thinking about Friday's game against whoever it is. But like, there were a point in my rugby career that I used to sit down and do a gratitude journal in the morning. I'm just playing around with it and thinking this is meant to be a good thing. And you know, there's 3 questions for what you can do to make today great. And I was like, have a laugh with lads.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And the next thing that I'd know, I'm going into training and I'm like wide-eyed, a bit like you know, like flipping, how good is this? I'm just going in to have a laugh with lads.
Yeah.
Do you know? And I'm like looking at people in the eye and I'm flipping holding the gaze and I felt like on fire.
Yeah.
You know? And
because these are the highs, aren't they? I assume, you know what I mean? You know, men being around men. You know, it's primal, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know, the camaraderie, the laughter.
Oh, man.
You know what I mean? The brotherhood.
Mega. Yeah, it's mega. You know? But some people, and I have, and I still did, be scheduling in my head about it's going to be hard this next session, or what we're going to have to do in video to get ready for Friday, or what we're going to have to do on Friday, and you're scheduling and you're not there, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, I went into the Rhinos fold on scholarship at 12 years old.
Huh.
I can remember getting a letter about getting selected for scholarship at like 11, and I'm flipping, taking it around everyone, taking it around year 7, showing my teachers, these Rhinos flipping badge at top, saying we've been selected for only 12 players in scholarship.
Wow.
I'm like, what?
It's initiating, isn't it? Like, suppose like your first initiation of acceptance as well.
Yeah. And
thinking
like,
I'm good or I'm wanted.
Yeah. Oh, I've got something here, you know? And man, I had a dream last night that, you know, I was getting ready to play again and stuff like that. So it's still there in me, even though I'm not doing it. But man, playing that game when you're young with your teammates, it's like, it is that initiation.
Yeah.
It's like weekly. It's like that weekly going through the nerves, that weekly understanding that you've got something.
Yeah.
that weekly understanding that your nerves just turn into like presence and like absolute magic.
Because
And
there's belonging, isn't there? You're fighting for each other.
mate, I'd go through the line and I'd hear my mum and dad screaming, telling me to carry on, and I'd step the full back and I score a try.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm like, and it all happened. I'm like, what the you know,
Yeah,
what's
euphoria.
Yeah, euphoria. You're getting up and
Ecstasy.
yeah, like how did that happen?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You just like, and it just plays out. It just plays out, and that's the thing. You play it. You play rugby league and you play sport. You know, and it's what you end up doing when you get older is trying to recapture that play.
Yeah.
You know, it's playing. You don't carry out a game of rugby league.
Yeah.
You don't carry out a game of tactics and flipping. This should happen here and that should happen there, and that's when why I think we were so strong as a team through the years at Rhinos, because we'd actually play it.
Yeah, you play.
And it'd come out from nowhere.
Yeah.
And we wouldn't understand what was going on.
It
The
was
crowd
just like
wouldn't
a
understand.
oneness between the team.
But people would want, other teams would want the tactics laid out.
Yeah.
So everyone can understand it in their minds. But we'd work hard for each other, mate.
Yeah.
Beyond what anyone should be doing in terms of putting the body on the line.
Yeah.
And it was like, yeah, mate, it's just the level of activity and the level of like attrition, that you put yourself through.
Yeah.
You're going to get something. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Because you've got another team who want to, who are almost adopting a similar mentality, you know what I mean? So, you're just going head to head with elite sportsmen.
Yeah.
And I suppose, the edge is going beyond fear, is going into that place where you're prepared to potentially fucking die on the pitch. Do you know what I mean? Like, for your brothers or for the
100%.
win.
Mate, I'd go out games and I'm ready to die here.
Yeah.
Do you know, I'd be listening to flipping music, getting ready to go to war all the time.
Yeah.
And
how did that serve you, Steve, going into matches? Like, because obviously you became the captain, didn't you? And so obviously they've seen that leadership within you.
I had so many flipping unreal like mentors and like role models. I played with the people that I'd watched back when I was 12 even.
Yeah.
And I'm like coming up. I can remember the first training session. I'm coming up, I'm like 16 and I'm a skinny little boy. Do you know what I mean? I'm like, I'm still not flipping big now, but at least I'm a man. Yeah. Back then I was a skinny young boy. Yeah. And I'm warming up doing high knees and that and flipping calf flicks and all that. And I'm looking around and there's Kevin Sinfield, there's Jamie Peacock, Jamie Jones Buchanan, Danny Maguire, Rob Burrow. Yeah. And I'm like, wow. Do you know what I'm like? You know when you're like, what's it called? Starstruck. Yeah. I'm starstruck and I'm training. Yeah. And I'm like, the Kevin Sinfield, who I was always sort of said to be the next Kevin Sinfield. Yeah. And he was, he'd won a daft amount of grand finals and he'd captained the team at 22 or something, 23. So he had even more expectation on him than I did. But I got compared to him growing up and they used to call me Kev. The academy under 20s used to call me Kev. And I'd been first team and someone would call Kev and I'd be like, oh, it's not my name here. It's not me. You know what I mean? So it was like, it was just insane, mate. At times it was magical.
I suppose it was timeless as well for a long time. I mean, you just in it. Yeah. And you just, everything's about the next game. Yeah. And then the camaraderie, the success that comes with it. Yeah. But I also assume that the pain, the physical pain that started to maybe come with, with that, like, what was it like, mate? Finishing games. What was the sort of, was there a come down after winning the leagues?
Yeah. It's funny. It's weird because there's a full body pain. Do you know what I mean? And even running, right, for me, running for me is like the hardest conditioning because it just somehow gets all your body.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Your arms start hurting, you
Yeah.
get stitches, but like that's running. I do about 8K a game, but within that it's sprints. Do you
Yeah.
know what I mean? It's like 3/4 pace all the time.
Yeah.
And you're just smashing into people all
Yeah.
the time. I'd average game, I'd probably make 40 tackles.
Yeah.
If I made 40 tackles, I'd be disappointed
Yeah.
because I'd be trying to get to 50. And then I'd carry the ball about 15 times. So
And these were the average statistics.
that's average.
Yeah.
And this is every week. Sometimes you play twice a week.
Oh.
You know, so you'd come off after the game.
Because I suppose when the adrenaline starts falling away,
You feel it, mate.
Yeah.
You feel it, mate. You come off game and you feel like an onset of it.
Yeah.
You know, it's like a dull pain, and mate, you sat there full body ache, and you can't get up off the bench and that. You go for a shower, but also you'd have like a sense of like euphoria as well.
yeah,
because you're like, he knows that I'm just flipping.
give it me
Put
all.
give it my all. Put my body online, and this guy's done it for me. You know, and it's like, it's an experience that I'm so glad I've had. Do
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it'd be going out in out of the change rooms, ready to go to war, but then obviously, like you say, the next morning, you're still in your mind. You're still like, the game's still fresh.
Yeah.
You know, you're aching, but you still got, like, it's like your muscles are still taking the most of it.
Yeah.
You're aching, you can move around and stuff, but then Sunday comes and it's the joints,
Yeah.
and it's like red raw joints. Do you know what I mean? It's like creaky joints, and you're like flipping. You can't lift your arms up. You can't get out of bed.
Yeah.
Mate.
And
Do you
you're
know
a
what I
young
mean?
man, aren't you?
I'm young. I was 20. You know, 19,
Mid-20s.
20, and
Yeah. Early 20s.
and you're getting out. But there's something virtuous about it as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's something virtuous about it. And then Monday comes and your shoulders are killing, but the way that you sort it out is by smashing into stuff again.
Going again.
Just get some blood going to it.
Yeah.
It's bonkers, mate.
So 2 questions I've got for you. I mean, firstly, I'd like to, what was your highlight? You know what I mean? Was there any, I suppose many moments, but was there any really specific moments where you was like, wow?
2017, and it wasn't just the game, but it was the whole week. The semi-final, I dislocated my shoulder in semi-final. It was 6 days before the grand final, and I'd missed, the last time I did my ACL, I'd missed a grand final. We'd done the treble that year, but this game that I'd done my ACL, it was like the second of the 3 that we'd win. So I'd done my ACL in that game, so I missed the grand final. And then in 2017, it was like a repeating story. I'd scored in the first 4 or 5 minutes, like flipping game mode, game ready. I'm like, I was on.
It was on.
And then last 4 minutes, I dislocated my shoulder. And I was just like, I'd already had 2 operations on it. I had one on my right, about 5 on my right knee by this point, one on my left ankle. And I remember like just coming off the field, and I was just like so far at the bottom of the barrel, you know. And you sort of put yourself in this script every time as a rugby player. Get back from injury, be the best player I can be the best again, win, and it's all, that's it. That's
like them mantras, isn't it? Almost collective mantras, maybe not your own, but
yeah. It's the formula. Do you know what I mean? It's already been laid out for me.
Yeah.
But this one, when it went, my shoulder, I'm like, it's too much. It's taking fucking piss now. Do you know what I mean? I'm like, that's too far. That.
Yeah.
Like, I'm like thinking, who's gone this far here?
Yeah.
Do you know, like, where's the rule book now?
Yeah.
Basically. And I'm sat on doctor's table, and he's trying to flipping put my shoulder back in. He's some old guy trying to flipping wang the shoulder back in that's already been blocked up instead of it coming out of the front. You know, so it came out at the back, and he's trying to yank it in. And I'm just there, and I'm like past it. I'm just like, I'm done. I'm done. So I went to hospital, went to A&E. We'd gone through to the final. So it's bittersweet again for me. Or it's not even sweet. I'm just like, fucked it. I'm just like, I can't be arsed anymore.
Yeah.
Went to the hospital. They put me on morphine. they said they'd give me enough morphine to knock out a bull, but it was still flipping killing me, mate. It was still, I'm like, what's happening? I'm like, what's going on? Why can't I get my shoulder back in? I'm like, and my mum and dad are like, they know the NHS is strained and, they're trying to, I'm like, Mum, stop fucking being so nice. Do you know what I mean? I'm like, this is not look at me. I'm writhing around in pain. So anyway, they couldn't get they give me the Michael Jackson drug. I think it's propofol or something to like, it basically knocks you out, but you're not asleep. And I come back round twice. I'm like, still out? Why is it still out? Like, how is it still out? How is it possibly still out? So anyway, they take me up to the ward. My mum comes up with me. They allow me to take the gas and air. So I'm just up all night, mate, on this Entonox. I'm like, I'm flipping. I'm like, cuckoo. That grand final doesn't exist. Do you know what I mean? It's just like, I'm like, all night. And I don't look at my phone because I'm sick of people texting me, feeling sorry for me. And, oh, you injured again. And I couldn't be arsed with it. Anyway, I got home the Saturday morning after they'd put me to sleep. They'd flipping put my shoulder back in place and they didn't play. And I'm back on the Saturday, moped around all day. My aunties came over. They brought like pork pies and sausage rolls as if someone had died or something. Like a wake, you know what I mean? And I'm like, moped around all day. Anyway, the Sunday came and I get up and I'm looking at my phone, I'm texting people. And I had teammates texting me saying, asking how I was, but saying, look, if you can get on the field, we'll make the tackles for you. And I'm like thinking, some of them were texting it, I'm saying, you don't fucking make any tackles anyway. But some of them are like, I believe this guy, I think he'll do it.
You're the captain by this time, by the way? Or?
No. I'm 24 at this point.
Yeah.
So I'm just sat there like a flipping madman. I'm thinking back to times when I was young, around 12. And I remember playing Bulldogs. You ever played Bulldogs at school?
Yeah.
And I'd done my AC joint playing Bulldogs. It was my right shoulder. And it was awful. Went to hospital and that, felt sick and it was like, what the hell's going on? Anyway, 2 weeks later, my amateur team were playing Featherstone Lions and we always got smashed by them. You know, like, when you get those amateur teams and they just smash you. And I thought, I couldn't let my team get beat by as much if I wasn't playing. Yeah. So I put bubble wrap on my shoulder, put those massive stag pads on my shoulder and went and played. And I still remember some of the tackles I made when I was that age. Yeah. So I'm like looking at my phone and I'm doing these texts. And I'm thinking, if there's any game that I'm not going to miss, it's the grand final 2017. Yeah. Do you know? Against the team.
Who was you playing?
Cass Tigers. Yeah. And they'd beat us, I think they'd beat us about 7 times in a row before this game. Wow. Anyway, so I text my coach.
Almost biggest game for Leeds Rhinos ever.
Mate, biggest game for ages. Wow. Absolutely ages.
And how was the vibe in the city? Was it just electric?
Mate, it was, that was, I'm glad you said it because that was the week. It was magic because no one thought I was going to play. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Everyone thought he's flipping.
Oh, he's out.
He's
Stevie
dead.
Ward.
Do you know what I mean? Yeah, he's gone. He's out. Like.
And you're seen as one of the biggest players in the club by this time. Yeah.
Yeah, like everyone's like thinking, how are we going to beat this team? You know, and I'm getting messages off all sorts of people, and I just like, I was looking at my phone. I was just like, I had a little smile because I thought they don't know I've made the decision to play it. Yeah. I made the decision. And it was like, the way I explain it is like a near-death experience. You know, like it's not as strong, but if you want to die, but somehow flipping came back and you're like, I've got a crack here. Yeah. All that week, mate. Yeah. I was like,
I'm
playing here at Old Trafford, 80,000 people. Wow. I'm playing here and no one knows it yet. Wow. So like, going through that week, I think I'd done some contact on the Thursday to see if I could do it. And it was hurting and all that, but I'm like, fucking, it doesn't matter. Do you know what I mean? It doesn't matter. I even felt a bit weak, but I thought, it's not going to feel weak tomorrow.
Yeah, when you're in it.
Yeah. And then, I just thought, got on the bus and I remember we'd had a bit of a theme throughout that year, the start of that pre-season, it was after a shocking year. 2016 was the worst year that Leeds Rhinos has ever had, like ever. And I was out for 12 months from ACL. Played 4 games the back end of that year. But it was the worst year ever. And we had a theme throughout that year pre-season. Instead of going to Jacksonville, Florida or flipping Portugal or wherever, we went to North Yorkshire. Right, laugh. 3 days. But one of the themes was that there's going to be about 8 players that just got asked to get up and speak about something, anything.
Yeah.
And about 6 of them, including me, got up and spoke about fucking depression, about anxiety, about how shit last year was, about relationship issues. Even coach got up and spoke about all sorts. And you could feel the flipping closeness coming in throughout that year.
Yeah, the vulnerability.
The vulnerability, mate, and people like looking at each other in the eyes and just making the extra tackles for each other. And it got to the night before, and
these are the magic formulas, aren't they?
magic, absolute magic. And I'd felt that throughout that year. And we'd gone into this game where the coach is letting me play because he just thinks he's going to flip in. He's going to do it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
and I'm
written in the stars almost.
Yeah, it's like, and we get into this meeting, like a team meeting, and head coach Brian McDermott, he comes in and he says, usually a team will get some speaker in, right? They'll get like a motivational speaker, they get ex-players or what. And he just came in and said, I ain't got out for you. I ain't got out for you. We're like, you fucking lazy cunt. But he just said, it's on you, man.
It's on you, that's it.
And then like one by one, Danny Maguire, Rob Burrow got up. I got up, spoke, obviously about how much it meant for me to play.
Yeah.
You know, with what was going on for me. Man, we just went out that game and we flipping hammered them.
Yeah, just smashed them.
They wanted the pie. Do you know what I mean? Because we had a wealth of flipping experience in that room.
Yeah.
That you can't quite put your finger on.
Yeah.
And it scares teams.
Yeah.
It's like when you're going out of the tunnel in Old Trafford and the fireworks are going off.
Yeah.
And the crowd's standing up.
Roaring.
And the air's going on the back of your neck. You're going, if you're on the other team and you're looking at us and we're just like, fucking.
Yeah. Because that's a spiritual experience right there, isn't it? You know what I mean? You know?
Flipping
just like oneness.
Yeah.
Like
man.
just ecstasy, bliss, like.
All the fans are in it as well. And I remember it as a fan. We're going to watch these games.
It's like the Colosseum, innit?
Oh, mate. Everyone's like, it's time now. Do you know what I mean?
This is it.
Everyone is so focused on that time. Everyone knows this is the moment.
Yeah.
And mate, we went and played that game and we just had a handle on it from as soon as we walked out to the rest of the flipping till the final whistle.
80 minutes, yeah.
And I'm like, screw it after it. I'm like, I've never had an experience like it. The last 5 minutes, I was running around on this serious game. We were like 24-8 up, I can't remember the score. But I'm smiling.
Yeah.
I'm smiling, running around.
Knowing.
I can't believe it.
Yeah.
Just knowing it. Just like, we've done it.
Yeah.
And there's a picture of me after game where I see my old mate, Cuffball. I'm just like fucking screaming. Like, yes. Just like there's a picture of me like, yes. Just like utter
joy.
Flipping joy. Yeah. It was mega. But because of all the crap that had gone on before it, all the crap in 2016 for the team, all the crap that had happened with me, it's like it made it so much better than what it could have been. You know?
Wow.
So that's the highlight.
The highlight.
Yeah, that week. You
know?
know?
And that game, you know, and the win. And so obviously, you know, sort of fast forwarding to, you know, the moment in your career where you took this first knock, because I know it was a couple of knocks that right there. You took this a knock. So 2017, you've won, you know, with Leeds Rhinos. When did the
So 2017 was a massive high. 2018 was another tough year. The coach that we had actually, who I was with ever since I was, when did he come in? I think I was 17 when he came in. So I think it was about 8 years he'd been there at the club. So he'd seen me all the way. He gave me my debut. I made my debut at 18 years old at Wembley.
Yeah.
So he'd give me my debut. He'd give me all these games. He trusted that I'd play. Trusted that I'd go through the injuries and stuff.
A father figure, innit?
Yeah, it is. You know, I'd see as much of him in the day as I would my dad. You know, those late end years. So he went, and 2018 were a rocky year for the club. Again, we were sort of there or thereabouts near relegation. Players had left. We'd had the captain had got injured throughout that year, so I got made captain back end of that year. But we're still picking up knocks and injuries. So I'd captained a little bit towards that back end of the year. And then 2019 came around and we had an Aussie coach come in who was a great tactician, and he understood the game, especially from the NRL. But I don't think he could quite put his finger on what it is to be a Leeds team.
Yeah.
He'd played for Leeds all his life.
Yeah.
But at that moment, he couldn't work with it. And he ended up leaving halfway through that year, and we were doing poorly again. And it came to a moment where we'd played Bradford Bulls away, which is one of our arch rivals, but they've been pretty poor, sort of like in the lower leagues over the last few years. Played the Challenge Cup game, and we just played like, just no one was playing for the same thing.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
Almost, there was nothing there, not to play for, almost not asked. It was like,
everyone had the same.
Yeah.
Everyone had
didn't want to be on a pitch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just like, and obviously these experiences I had, I'm like, what's going on?
What's going on here? Yeah.
What?
Just doesn't feel right.
Yeah. It just felt empty, you know, and I felt, I felt empty as an individual, you know, those years before. And I'm like, I know what's happening here.
Yeah.
We don't know who we are.
Yeah.
We don't know we don't know why we're playing.
Yeah.
We don't know what we expect of each other. We don't know what we'll do for each other. We don't have any standards. We don't have any accountability. I could just see it as clear as day.
Because they're just the values and the virtues and the hallmarks of any successful human being, team, you know, sports enterprise.
Exactly. It's like you can wear the badge, but it depends what's behind it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it got to that point where it was in a video review of that game, and I just said all that. I just thought, I can't just see what happened. I just have to take control here. And I said to the coach who'd come in that we need to speak about what we are. We need to find out why we're here again. We've had players come in from Papua New Guinea. We've had players leave. By this point, that team in 2017, I think there'd have been about 20 players leave and come in.
Yeah.
It was like a different...
Yeah, it's a different culture, different...
You know, they weren't playing for the Leeds Rhinos of 2 years ago or the Leeds Rhinos of 10 years ago, 15 years ago.
Just different.
So we had to go through it, you know, speak about the values, speak about the behaviours and all of that. And that to be fair, is one of the best moments. I was off the pitch and flipping good old trusting knee wasn't great. But we'd lost so many games of succession. But after these meetings, we had values, we understood who we were. And in this game, straight after, we'd beat Wakefield away in the flipping torrential rain. It was like 8-0, but we'd nilled them away, which we'd not done all year for ages.
Yeah.
I'm sat aside at pitch, and it was like a different sense of accomplishment. Do you know what I mean? Which I've not experienced before.
Yeah.
I imagine it's what a coach feels, a dad, do you know, that type of thing.
Yeah.
So that was a good moment in 2019. And then I got made captain 2020 at the start of that year. But that's when, coming through the friendlies as captain, I had a good few games. The last friendly 2 weeks before the season started is when I had the first concussion, if you like. My head got like crushed under a tackle. Flipping, I was tackling one of their lighter players, putting him on his back. And just before I could move my head out of between his back and the floor, one of our flipping Tongan 135 kilogram just just jumped on it like smack down. Do you know, as if before it's meant to go, jumped on it on top of it, smashed it. My head were in between.
It's like a vice.
Yeah, exactly like a vice. Yeah, and I got up and I'm like, first thing I thought was like, my skull's strong. Do you know what I mean? I was like, how's that? How have I got out of that?
Yeah.
But then sort of carried on playing the rest of the game. I can remember going home, and I'm like, fuck.
Yeah, just knew something wasn't right.
On. I was getting irritable. I felt sick.
Yeah.
You know, that car sicky feeling.
Yeah.
And then I was wiped out for the rest of that week. I was sleeping about 6-7 hours in a day.
Yeah.
Anyway, I got back to play the game after, and that scar, that big scar it's the last game, but that's another big knock that I took in that game.
Yeah.
And it was just someone's head, someone's head. My shoulder went to their chest, their head went into my cheek, and that was another knock. And I just carried on playing game again, and that's when I was in this world of symptoms of being in a cloud, migraines and being sick, and you know, that just carrying on for a long time.
Yeah. Wow.
So yeah, that's like the quick milestones of it, you know, to what's sort of led on to meeting you and doing the retreat with you and Craig. And
was there one final tackle? Was there like a last moment, or was that the final game where it was like, you know?
Yeah, mate, to be fair, like the second half, I was just like, I'm after it here.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
I'm after it.
And did you finish the game? Did you, or did you have to come off?
Finished game. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was just like flipping, smashing people. Do you know what I mean?
Was that last game you ever played, Steve? Was it?
Last game ever.
Yeah.
Last game ever. Yeah.
Wow.
But at least I know that I did everything. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Which, yeah, I don't actively think about it too much. I don't think, and I have gone through a process of thinking about it, and it just comes up. It just comes up.
Just mention then, what, you know, for anyone listening, the severity of the concussion.
I mean, when I did that retreat, I was like near its heights, really, but going on the walks that we did were a stretch.
Yeah.
Stuff that were uphill were a stretch.
Yeah. So normal day living then just changed for you, didn't it?
Normal everyday living, there was hardly any normality to it.
Yeah.
You know, and
what did that look like? Just cloudy, dizzy,
headaches
confused.
all the time, migraines. Couldn't look at my phone, couldn't look at laptops.
Yeah.
Confused, mate.
Yeah.
Really confused. Worried, scared, anxious. It was like there was a box of all my insecurities,
it was just
worries,
all coming up.
fears, and it was like,
and it was there every day. Kept waking up and it was there.
Yeah, couldn't sleep. Was dizzy walking.
Yeah. And then I assume you'd had some brain scans by this time.
Yeah. Had the brain scans, normal MRI on concussions. It doesn't show anything. It just shows, you know, it's like his brain's all right, but the specialists would say it's a migrainous concussion and a vestibular concussion.
Yeah.
Have
you actually ever got to the very bottom of it? If there is any bottom to it.
I don't know if there is a bottom to it. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I'm trying to talk about it in past tense because I'm trying to disidentify with it.
Yeah, yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Do you feel like you're coming out of it now? Like, and you know, how's it been? You know, I suppose, because so last game was when 2020.
2020 February it was.
Yeah, so just before lockdown.
Yeah, just before lockdown.
Yeah.
So, you know, if things were different, and
that's 2 years, you know, it's 2.5 years ago now, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a long time.
Yeah.
And I'm sort of glad lockdown was the period when it means that everything went normal, so it were harder.
Yeah.
But I was away from noise, I was away from pressure to be well all the time. Do you know what I mean? It was like,
because you've now gone on a journey of almost recovery, haven't you?
Yeah.
Repair.
Yeah.
You know, and I know it's taking you down, you know, an avenue, especially, having a partner as well who's incredibly open-minded, but,
Yeah.
of wanting to heal, and then looking at, alternatives, meditation,
Yeah.
nature, boundaries with,
Yeah.
the phones and things, just trying to, just even trying to get a good night's sleep, do you know what I mean?
Mate,
So,
it was, I
a
wouldn't
nightmare
look-
for you for a
yeah,
while.
I wouldn't look at my phone. Do you know what I mean? I wouldn't look at my phone. Natalie would be doing all my emails, all my texts. Just like it was ridiculous.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It was ridiculous. And now with the lights, it's like it's a lot. But I'm just not letting it
Yeah.
be a lot. Do you know what I mean? Like
I assume it's gotten better over the last, is it progressively?
I've definitely been able to have a mindset where I can manage it better.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I can manage it better. And there's less things which that trigger me.
Yeah.
I used to have to flip and lie down all the time with
Yeah.
migraines. Do you know what I mean? And I've been doing that, but it's not in the frequency.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
What's the support like? Because I suppose, it's not just rugby. I suppose it's like MMA, boxing. You know what I mean? What is there like a governing body for this kind of stuff? Is there a support network? Have you just sort of been left to your own?
It's a good question.
Did the club offer their support? How did it pan out for you?
The club offered the treatment and stuff, and then it got to a point where I had to start getting my own treatment
Yeah.
at a certain point. So that it's pretty scary, flipping in amongst all this. I'm transitioning from being a rugby player.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
You're letting go of an identity, aren't you?
Just like
And and that acceptance that I'm actually never gonna play rugby again.
yeah. That's and mate, I think I'm still going through the process. It's like grief.
Yeah.
It's a version of grief.
Because you're a celebrity, aren't you? But in Leeds, main man,
Yeah.
big club.
Yeah.
You're well known, well liked.
Yeah.
And then you sort of have
And
them
then it's-
moments where it goes quiet, dark.
Yeah.
No one's around.
Yeah.
No one,
You're not having that reconfirmation all the time
Yeah.
about who you are and what
Yeah.
you mean to people, and it's meeting that. It's meeting where you are,
Yeah.
who you are.
And I suppose that's why so many, guys and women coming out of sports, professional sports, it's like, who am I? Who am I here?
Yeah.
Who am I to the world? Do you know what I mean? What identity, am I adopting now? You know what I mean? And there's because you're not a rugby player. You're just playing rugby.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
yeah,
You
yeah,
adopt the
yeah.
identity of,
Yeah.
and I suppose then that's taking you on a journey. Not just an external journey of adventure, but certainly an internal journey of investigation.
Yeah.
And like reevaluating your life. And because I suppose you may have never. I assume you may have never projected that far ahead. It was just like, I'm in the rugby, assuming you were probably going to have a long career, maybe into your early 30s or something.
Yeah.
And then now all of a sudden it's like, wow, it's come to an end. Do you, but I now getting to really know you, I think it's probably a blessing in disguise for you, isn't it?
Who knows?
It's opened up your world, hasn't it, Steve?
It has, mate. It has, and like I say, that there's an element of understanding that you've got to have to even be able to do those vulnerability meetings, the values of behaviours meetings. You've got to. I guess it's just how humans work.
Yeah.
And what's here for us, like what you said, what's available. I love that. What's available.
Yeah.
Because we shut ourselves off to it.
Yeah.
So there's, comes in alignment with launching Mantality, and putting that out there. And when I launched that, I was saying there's more to. I was basically saying, what is there to this? What is there to? Why are we not speaking about mental health?
Yeah.
Like everything I've seen of champions, they've had to overcome something. So why don't we speak about the overcoming something
Yeah.
when we're doing it?
Yeah.
You know, it's how we're human beings. We measure by stories,
Yeah.
and we create those formulas. So I was like, I'm going to find it out.
Yeah.
I said it at 22 years old. I'm going to find it out.
And so what is Mantality then?
So it's a coaching and counselling service now.
Yeah.
But it started as an online magazine where I'm interviewing all these players, interviewing these flipping high performance coaches. I'm interviewing psychologists, psychiatrists, and it just evolved into a podcast. It evolved into where we have conversations like this. It evolved into the counselling where men can say, "Flipping heck, I connect with Mantality,"
Yeah.
and I know that this is something that I can
Yeah.
do.
It's a place to go, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a place to go. It's a community. And it's just something I know that needs to be there.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. I suppose, you know, you get a lot of, you know, rugby players or ex-athletes, you know, coming in
Yeah.
your direction.
Yeah.
But, you know, and I suppose it's also extended now to just, you know, the normal bloke in the street, mate.
Exactly.
You know
yeah.
what I mean?
It's for everyone. I've called it Mantality, and it's like humantality. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's what it should be called, because everyone connects with it.
Yeah.
Everyone connects with it. And it's just a forever evolving journey.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? When people say like, "What is Mantality?" or whatever, I'm like, "Fuck." It's just there for what people need.
Yeah.
In
It's
a way.
container, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it offers that space, which in 2017 I had a dose of it where people are speaking about truth.
Yeah.
You know, you say vulnerability, it's just truth.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
People just speaking truth, and you're going, wow.
Yeah.
How powerful is it?
Yeah.
And then the retreat, you know, we hosted a retreat, Mantality retreat with Craig White,
Yeah.
2018. And that kicked off, and I'm like, whoa.
Yeah.
You know?
Because Craig, you know, big noise in the rugby world many years
Exactly.
ago, wasn't he?
Yeah, exactly.
You know, and
he
still is,
Still
yeah.
dips in, and
Yeah.
people are still like flipping, finding their way to him. And
Yeah. Because he's you know, he's almost added a totally new spin, hasn't he? You know, on what it means to be a man
Yeah.
in the world, you know, and
Yeah.
or he's bridging that gap between sport and elite performers and humanness.
Yeah,
You know what I
yeah,
mean? And
yeah.
you know, and almost, you know, the how and psychology,
Yeah.
you know, and the archetypes, as we know, of what we embody as a man. And I think it's great because he's just my mate. I don't know from the rugby world, you know what I mean? And you know, we're best mates, and we
Yeah.
buzz off each other. You know, and he's I think he's a pioneer, isn't he?
Yeah, he is, yeah.
You know what I
he's
mean?
a leader, isn't he? He's
Yeah.
a leader, and he dares to lead.
Yeah.
You know, and he's in a position where he can cause a lot of change.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's a big position, that.
Yeah. And people listening nowadays more than ever, do you think?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
I think so. I think, you know, you got to take our biases off and think that we're in the echo chamber, and
Yeah.
but no, I think people are. I think people are. I mean, I know when I was going through something when I was 22, and I was on an England camp, and I was like, it was like the first moment where I've hit a brick wall. Do you know what I mean? I'm like, what is it? What's it about here?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like,
Sometimes being a man, you know, it can just be like, I'll get on with it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Come on, man
exactly.
up, will you?
exactly. But
You know?
maybe that needs to energy needs to go somewhere, and that's why coming out of it, I put Mantality out there, and hopefully, and I know there's so many more flipping platforms for it.
Yeah.
Do you know? And Craig's one of them, you're one of them.
Yeah.
There's some people that I see, and I'm like, oh, fucking hell. Do you know what I mean? There's some people, it's like, I mean, it can become a trend. Do you know what I mean? And it's good, but there's people I feel like almost, they miss the bit in between.
Yeah.
They feel it, and then they go, oh, no, wait, I'm going to solve it.
Yeah.
And they don't go through that bit in between.
Yeah.
And
It's
I think,
direct experience, isn't it?
yeah, man, that's one thing that came so true to me in New York. It was like a light bulb. It was like everything piled on top of each other just made so much sense.
Yeah.
And I understood what lived experience was.
Yeah.
Just, I felt it.
A lived
could
experience.
feel lived experience.
Yeah.
And it's a different knowledge, lived knowledge.
Yeah.
You know, instead
experiential knowledge.
Yeah.
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 It's massive.
It's like,
you know, you're not regurgitating from other people's ideas and
No.
ideologies and methodologies
Yeah.
and systems, but actually, you know, I'm able to talk here and deliver and share through, you know, an experience that I've tasted.
Yeah.
In its rawness.
Because when you're speaking about something that you've heard, it's like, feels a bit like,
yeah,
it's like you're wearing something else again.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And it just, but then I was there and I was just like, fuck. I could just feel, I felt good. Do you know what I mean? I felt in it. And like I said that I felt that experience.
Yeah. And I suppose that, you know, is leads on to, you know, how does your future look? Do you know what I mean? You know, and I believe, you know, listening to you and getting a sense of where you are, there's a sense of trust as well, isn't there now? Do you know what I mean? It's like I'm trusting my future.
Yeah.
Because I know there's magic.
Yeah.
I know magic unfolds when I surrender.
Yeah, yeah.
But there's also a you know, maybe a slight plan as well. Do you know what I mean? You know, what does that plan look like then, Steve? You know, what's your immediate future planned out to look like over the, you know, the coming year?
Yeah, I mean, there is an element of trust. Like, there's almost a part of me that just says, I don't know what's next. Because how long we're thinking. Do you know what I mean? I'm like, I don't know I know there's going to be some flipping good times. I know there's going to be some hard times and all the rest of it in between.
Yeah.
I know it and I'm all right with it. But, yeah, the plan is to just hang on to it and see where it goes.
See where it goes. What inspires you then, mate? You know, is it, you know, what gets you going nowadays then?
There's a good day what I had yesterday. I'm like, that's a good day, that. You know, when you get back and you're like flipping, you're alive.
Yeah.
You didn't need the coffee, you didn't need.
Yeah.
You were just on it.
Yeah.
But I just met a chap in the morning called Phil Hay, he's like he's a sports journalist, but alongside Leeds United coming up.
Yeah.
You know, and similar to Liverpool, the flipping atmosphere of the ground, the fans around it, it's just got a Leedsness to it.
Yeah.
That's hard to, and he's like a journalist he's there. Do you know what I mean? He's directing it a little bit.
Yeah.
So I love the conversation with him, philosophizing, talking about what he does, talking about the good stuff, the bad stuff. And I love that. Boom, class conversation. My mate's doing a 100k run in, my best mate from 8 years old, I used to play rugby with him. He's doing a 100k run in Leeds on the 1st of October.
Nice.
So we took him into a podcast studio, did a podcast, talked about our history, talked about why he's doing it, which is to raise money for Mantality counselling, to get these people that have bashed their heads in a lot, who are struggling, their partners that are struggling around them, to get them some support, some counselling.
Yeah.
So I did that, and then saw some of the ex-physios that I know, the conditioners. Just spoke to them. It was like a little element of, they've got like a little sort of a room where they're doing the physio work they're doing now, strength and conditioning. It was like an element of that camaraderie, you know, that primal thing.
Yeah.
Did some videos. I guess it was a bit of marketing.
Yeah.
And I was alive.
Just
I was
linking in people.
Just that's it. That's it. I think that's it. Because sometimes I put it into a box.
Yeah.
And I look at box and I'm like, don't feel it. Do you know what I mean? Put it into a box, whatever it means, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I'm over saying, this is what I am.
Yeah.
Or this is what I do.
Yeah, I'm just showing up.
Yeah, I'm doing it.
Here.
As long as there's some form of flipping money that makes sure that I can flipping
keep going.
buying crap tops, and do you know what I mean? That's what it is.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Nice.
So yeah, we'll see where it evolves. I spoke about studying, and I was going to go study philosophy and politics, but the 3 years of it and the travel of it and the being away from that centre that I just spoke about, that energy, I think is a bit. It's too much. So I'm going to
do a
train
masters,
up.
aren't you, mate? Or potentially thinking about doing a masters.
I do a masters in either sports strategic marketing or sports business management.
Nice.
I need to figure that out and see whatever feels right.
Yeah, nice.
I'll just do that and see what happens.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Wow.
That
90 minutes, mate. 90 minutes. So
you just box that off.
We're coming towards the end here, and just listening, mate. You know, I mean, we could just keep talking, mate. Couldn't we? You know what I mean?
I know.
I've just really loved listening to you and getting a taste of your life. You know, your professional life and your immediate past in the States, and you know this journey you're going on, this internal journey. You know, with you know, finding out and investigating, and also you know healing. You know, with the concussion side of things and human experience, mate. It's you know, and you know, it's the beat goes on, doesn't it? You know,
That's it, mate. I love that.
The beat goes on. So I am so glad you were here today, mate. You know, I know we're gonna go for a little cup of tea out now, aren't we, mate? We're gonna keep catching up. But I just want to say, wish you all the best, Steve. You know what I mean? I'm rooting for you, mate. I believe in you. I love you, mate. I think you're boss, good human being. You know, a real a leader. You know, of men and people, and I just think you're going to continue to be great and to do great. And I'm psyched for how things will unfold for you. You know, no doubt. You know, you got a great partner there. So, you know, I'm sure, you know, on the horizon of things, maybe family and children and more travel and stuff like that.
That's knocking around.
Somewhere, Not just yet, though.
I know. But mate, honestly, it's been a flipping pleasure. We've meant to do this for a while, but it's come at the right time.
Yeah, it's come at the right time, hasn't it?
You know, and this is what I live for. This, you know what I mean? That you ask what I want. This is what I live for. Do you know what I mean? These conversations and connections. So. You're a legend, mate.
Good man. Thank you, Steve.
You know you're a legend as well.
Go on, I'll own it.
Allow it, brother.
Come on, mate.
Allow it.
Lovely. Nice one, Steve.
Class.
Good man. So thank you for tuning in. Episode 24, great conversation, my man Stevie Ward. Thanks for listening. I'm just going to do a quick shout out to a new platform I've just released called The Alliance. It's a conscious membership. It's a subscription-based experience. And it consists of interactive meditation. I've come away from the Scouse Guru app. I've put it into a platform called Creating Space. But I've also, you know, really upgraded it with a lot of yoga, Pilates, fitness, and you know, and a lot of offerings as well. There's some affiliations with some local businesses in Liverpool. So there's a lot really happening here. I've been putting this together for quite some time, and it's just ready. We've just popped it. It's live. It's on the website. It's martinbonemeditation.com. It's called The Alliance. Check it out. Next level platform, serious platform for serious people who want to upgrade, level up, and meeting some new people and go on a journey. So yeah, check in with it. And thanks for listening. Hope to meet you in the future. Bye for now. Creating Space is sponsored by the Scouse Guru app, an all-purpose meditation app that feeds into all your needs, developing peace of mind, increasing mental focus, lowering stress levels while discovering inner stillness, awakening your potential and educating you on all matters related to human behaviour and personal development. Download the app for free on the App Store or get it on Google Play today.